First, I do want to thank you for that incredible introduction and greeting to the auditorium this evening. At this time, I do want to remind everyone that we have minutes and agendas up here. You can come up now. You can come up after the pledge if you would like before we start the formal parts of the meeting. And we'll start our meeting this evening with Mr. McNally introducing the student who will lead us in the pledge of allegiance. McNally?
Good evening, everyone. 12th grader Nicholas Rivera, known by his classmates, staff, and coaches as Nico, is being recognized this month for his efforts to raise awareness for those with epilepsy, including himself. Nico is part of a self-advocacy program called Teen Speak Up through the National Epilepsy Foundation and was invited to Washington, D.C. last spring to advocate for those with epilepsy as well as meet other teens who share this medical condition. He was named Grand Marshal of this year's Walk to End Epilepsy held at Eisenhower Park and continues to bring awareness and raise funds for local agencies serving those with epilepsy, specifically Epic Long Island. Nico is a two-sport varsity athlete who competes in soccer and unified basketball. Nico, why don't you come up and help us with the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you please remain standing for the national anthem. We have three seniors this evening who are singing for us: Justin Morris, Lorraine Connor, and Ashley Fargo.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright star through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets burned glad almost bursting in air, gave through the night our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and home of the
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. October is School Board Appreciation Month, and each year, one of our schools takes charge of honoring our Board of Education. And as you can see already, we have quite an evening prepared for you. And I will turn the microphone over to Mr. Schaefer, our principal of our junior senior high school, who will continue with the festivities tonight.
School boards lead so that students can achieve. This is no more true than in East Rockland. The commitment of our Board of Education to the academic, athletic, and extracurricular programs is unwavering. And it is our privilege tonight to show our appreciation for all of their efforts. Nothing I can say will do justice to what you're about to see, so I will just turn it over to our students, teachers, and administrators who put together an amazing program for you tonight.
We thank you. Hey, Rocks, here we go. Yell B-O-E. B-O-E. Hey, Rocks, here we go again. Yell we thank you. We thank you. Board of Ed, we thank you. Board of Ed, we thank you. 2, 3.
Thank you, cheerleaders. I'd like to call up Caitlin Reddy, class of 2020.
Thank you. We would like to thank you, the Board of Ed, for their dedication and support, and for the students of East Rockland. Your commitment to our district allows students to be guided by the compass of achievement, innovation, opportunity, and connection. Thank you for setting the course for excellence. The flag commemorates the compass and serves as a reminder of the positive direction into which you have steered our district. How each individual Board of Education member brings great strength to the position, and together as a team, the Board of Education is an output. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for all the opportunities.
Innovation. Thank you for continuously searching for new and exciting ways to enhance our business.
Connection. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to make connections to ensure our success.
Thank you, Orphan.
Good evening, everyone. I now have the honor of introducing Matthew Makovic, class of 2021, a member of our public speaking class, as well as a student who can speak better than many of us on all of these things that the Board of Ed offers. So without further delay, Matthew.
Good evening. Tonight is all about expressing our appreciation to the Board of Education for all that they do. When starting to think about how best I can represent the student group of East Rockaway, I had to think about what I should write. Then with some help, I realized I could focus on the 4 points of the district's 5 years of strategic plan and take a look at all the successes that have come to our school because of the Board of Education. The first point to go over is connection. Connection is all about building community in our school, about creating a safe place for people to trust. I can gladly say that the Board of Education staff have made our school such an inviting and welcoming place to learn. From the little conversations I have with monitors, or with staff in the morning when I arrive, and with Vista when I get my lunch every day, to the interactions I have with teachers. This all comes together to build a strong and trustworthy environment. I can think of many people that I'm able to go to right now if I need help, and I know this is true for many students. Connection is one of the board's major points, and we are thankful for it. The next point is opportunity. Opportunity is probably my favorite point of the board because there's so much in this school. In this very auditorium, I performed in the band, worked in light box for the musicals, set up mics for Rock Rockery, and now I'm giving a speech in this very auditorium. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but thank you for the opportunity. And that's what this is all about, opportunity. I've spoken about just one room in this school, and had several opportunities to list. Imagine all the opportunities that take place in each classroom, in the gyms, or on the fields, in the art rooms, or in the library. The opportunities are endless, and they are offered to all students. So thank you to the Board of Ed, because there are probably too many opportunities for me to have. The third point is innovation. Throughout my years at East Rockaway High School, I have seen lots of innovation. My classmates and I have seen the introduction of Google Classroom, tablets, Mind App, and other new technology. I can say that for the most part, they all make life easier. I say the most part not in a bad way, because our school is always working to find what works best. Innovation will have its flaws, but the Board of Education staff are quick to work things out and find what works best for the students and teachers. Google Classroom has made schools much easier with the access to schoolwork anywhere at any time. Also, school-issued tablets are so convenient that I type a speech online. This innovation is greatly appreciated. The last point, achievement, was actually the hardest point for me to talk about because I didn't know exactly where to start. But after a quick Google search of my school-issued laptop, I saw how much our school has accomplished. So here are just some of the many achievements that the Board of Education is how to implement. Improvements have been made in MWEA testing for all grades. More Regents diplomas and advanced Regents diplomas are earned, and there's higher enrollment in AP classes. I myself have taken AP Physics, AP Language, and AP US History. Also, achievement can be seen with athletics. Our teams have gone to many championships, but arguably the most important of all achievements is our Scholar Athletes program. Based on my research, did you know that there were more than 160 student scholar athletes in 2018? The connection, opportunities, innovation, and achievements that we have in this district would not be possible without the work of the Board of Education. They introduce new and exciting ways to learn and offer a place for students to go at home and can succeed. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the students at East Rockaway High School, and all these reasons are why we thank the Board of Education. I'd like to thank Mr. Adams for all the help in the speech, and thank you, of course, to the Board of Education. I would now like to invite Mr. Schaefer to Mr. Cooley.
I just want to thank everyone involved in tonight's program, our athletes, our cheerleaders, all of our teachers who helped make today possible. A special shout out to Mr. Barb for putting together the video and most people you saw tonight, and Mr. Nova for being his right hand woman. Yes. And of course, I would like to thank our Board of Education. Clearly, our board members play an impactful role in our students' daily lives and in their future endeavors. Thank you.
Another round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer, the administrative team, teachers, and of course all of our students. This was really overwhelming. What a beautiful tribute and very, very well deserved. I don't think any of us would have any words that can top that. And they not only honored our Board of Education in so many ways, but I don't think I need to do my strategic plan presentation because it's way more boring than what you guys did. And you just talked all about the achievements we've had over the last couple of years. So thank you so much. And thank you to our Board of Education. Congratulations. So we're going, before we break for refreshments, we're going to continue with one more honor to bestow. Tonight I will be recommending to the Board of Education that we grant tenure to Rain Avenue fourth grade teacher, Ms. Sarah Kane, and I'd like to invite Ms. Aisha MacArthur, the principal of Rain Avenue, to speak on her behalf.
Good evening. Mrs. Sarah Kane has been a valued member of the Rain Avenue family for the past 6 years. She initially began her tenure as a leave replacement before securing a probationary teaching position as a fourth grade teacher. Mrs. Kane currently serves as a third grade teacher, and her commitment to the East Rockaway School District and her own professional growth as a teacher has been evident since joining Rain Avenue School. Mrs. Kane embodies a spirit of collegiality as she is always willing to share and support her colleagues. She's always been willing to turnkey professional learning to staff after participating in her own professional development, and she's presented at several faculty meetings on a plethora of topics. Mrs. Kane is an eager and early adapter of district initiatives and works diligently with her colleagues to implement those new initiatives. To this end, she has assumed a leadership role with the implementation of thinking maps, becoming a trainer, and providing demonstration lessons for her colleagues. She has also assumed a leadership role in different building and district level committees, such as the DASA Committee, Building Safety Committee, District Safety Committee, and the Rain Avenue Literacy Action Team assisting with park events. She's always looking for ways to improve her practice. She was an early pioneer of flexible seating to support student learning. Promoting a classroom environment that is safe, welcoming, and right for student learning is an essential part of the fabric of Mrs. Kane's service as a teacher. She consistently fosters a positive classroom environment through her use of effective classroom management strategies. This desire to create the structures for a positive learning experience does not solely include her students, as she also builds a positive rapport with her families. She understands the value in being part of the school community, and she attends many PTA-sponsored events to seize the opportunity to connect with families on a personal level. Mrs. Kane goes above and beyond to meet the needs of her students. She reflected on her recent move to third grade as a great opportunity because I know the demands that they will face in fourth grade, so I know what will be needed to help them to make the transition. It should be noted that Ms. Kane started the new school year with her third graders by focusing on helping them to develop a growth mindset. She helps students to approach the new year by setting goals on areas that they would like to improve. They may not be there right now, however, she emphasized the power of yet to help her students to strategically plan to accomplish their goals. The nurturing and dedicated demeanor that Mrs. Kane exhibits each day extends beyond students and colleagues. She is a proud mom of a 3-year-old daughter, Landon, a wife, a daughter, and a sister. To help to build a more personal rapport with her students, she often brings in anecdotes about her personal life. It is my honor to recommend Mrs. Kane for tenure to Mrs. Ruiz and the Board of Education. Congratulations, Sarah.
Receiving tenure is really a huge honor, and our teachers work so hard to provide the best for our students, and I'm really thrilled for Mrs. Kane to have this evening tonight. She did take off some time to have her child and raise her, and so it's a little bit delayed, that beautiful baby. Congratulations to you, and we wish you a long and successful career here in Southbury.
So we will adjourn this meeting for a few moments to enjoy some refreshments out in the lobby. Once again, thank you all. will be giving us an update on the 5-year strategic plan. Dolphus?
Thank you. On July 25th, we met with the village, and the village had a real concern, along with Assemblyman Diaz-Pizito, in the number of cars that were not following the rules and regulations of the road. And we know we see this every day on the road when we're out there, but especially in a small village like ours, everything's two-way, with kids out there playing. And one of the things that came up in the meeting is that if we make it a combined effort between the school district and the village itself, maybe we can make a change. So that evening came, and all the constituents of the village were there. And a plan was made up that let's just keep praising and pushing the word about safe driving. And a campaign started, where the school district got involved in each school, made contributions to which you're about to see. And I'm proud to say, you know, I talked to my gauge on the community driving is Jimmy Juarez, and we all know Jimmy. And Jimmy would be the first to tell you this is bad. You know, people are passing the bus, they're not waiting for the stop sign to come in, so on and so forth. And I asked him, I said, Jim, just the other day, you know, has there been any difference? And he says, you know what? I only had 2 people pass me, and last year by this time I had dozens. So maybe it's making a difference, but I want to thank all the administrators here tonight for pushing, you know, into the schools with this idea that if everybody contributes to an idea, we'll make a difference. And I think that's what East Rockville is about, so enjoy.
Whether you live in the village of East Rockaway
or any of the surrounding communities,
reckless driving is a danger to all of those who share the road. This is our village.
Safe driving saves lives.
And with children returning to school, now is the perfect time to remind everyone, slow down, life is too short to speed through.
There's never ever an excuse for texting while driving. This is our neighborhood. Please drive carefully. School's open, please slow down. Remember, safe driving saves lives. Children are able to judge the speed and distance of moving vehicles until the age of 10. Life is too short to speed through. Safe driving saves lives. Drive like your kids live here. Everyday motor vehicles kill more children than any disease. Schools open, please slow down.
When you drive down my block, drive as if every child on the street were your own.
There is never ever an excuse for texting while driving. This is our village. Remember, safe driving saves lives. Life is too short to speed through.
Thank you to the village for, and the town of Hempstead for preparing that. We hope it makes a difference. We've had reports from parents of students, and we know it's not every student, it's a small number of students that actually are crossing the railroad tracks when the arm is down and the lights are flashing just to get by. And I know Mr. Shaker has addressed this. Terranova has addressed this, so please, we do have safety programs. We've met with representatives from the village. We're going to continue to run more safety programs for our students and also through driver's ed, but we encourage those parents that are here to remind your students who walk to please be careful and obey all the traffic safety rules. It's really, really important, especially in a community where unfortunately we do have to cross the railroad tracks. We do have a number of parents who have, they've been lobbying us and so I'll just mention it, and the village for a crossing guard by the railroad track along Ocean Avenue by Wendy's, that in that direction. And unfortunately, the police department say they do not provide crossing guards by the railroad crossings. And so there's really not much else we can do, or the police can do. It's just something that because it's a different entity that manages the railroad, and it is unfortunate, and that they felt we do have enough crossing guards along Ocean Avenue. Of course, can you ever have enough safety measures? But I think talking to our kids and reminding them, and even our middle school students, do a program for them as well, to remind them to drive, to walk safely. So tonight,
From beginning, all the way over.
I'm a Mac person, I'm sorry, and I'm just sort of.
Just go all the way to the left, to my, nope.
I want to do it from the beginning, but I want to do the presenter view.
Yeah, it'll do that. It sets it, go, just click on that. It should set it up.
As we do each year, usually we do this presentation in September, but because we had the bond forum this past September, we delayed this until October. I will say that our students who presented and through the video tonight did a great job of talking about all of the different, all of the progress that our students have made, that our district has made over the last 4 years relative to our strategic plan. So I'd like to start by thanking the Board of Education for their continued support with all of the work that we do. Without their support of our budget and the ideas that they bring forth, many of these things would never come to fruition. So I'd also like to thank our administrative team for really providing leadership for all of the activities and all of the progress that we have made throughout the years, and you'll see many, many different things shared tonight. I'm not going to go into super detail because I will put this on the website. It would probably take me about an hour and a half, and I know you don't want to listen to me for an hour and a half, talking about all of the wonderful things that have gone on in the past year. And I'd also like to thank our teachers because they are at the heart of everything that we do in the classrooms day to day, and they're the ones that implement the changes that we put forth and learn the new skills and strategies and programs that we bring to our students so that they can be more successful. So this is really a team effort. I'd also like to thank the parents in the community because they play a huge role in everything that we do in our school district and support not only their children, our students in general, and many of the initiatives that we've moved forward. We wouldn't be able to be the community that we are without you as well. So this is year 4, and this I'm reporting on year 4. And what I decided to do this year, because it really is the last year of our plan, is to kind of add a culmination of the 4 years. I couldn't possibly add everything into this presentation that we've accomplished over the last 4 years, but you will see some of the strategies. And basically, a lot of the things that we've done have built from year to year because change doesn't take place overnight, and most of the research shows that to affect really systemic change in a district and to move districts and organizations forward, it will take 5 to 7 years to see major change take place. So you will see that some of the strategies and initiatives started 4 years ago, and they will continue into our next 5-year plan. The year that we're going into is the last year of the plan, and as you'll see in the presentation, in January, we will be reforming our strategic planning committee. So if you were on it in the last planning committee and you're interested in participating again, I hope you will. And of course, it will be open to other parents, community members, teachers, and administrators as we plan for the next 5 years. So this is, as you heard, I know we talk about a lot about this, our compass rose and our 4 priority areas. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that by now. And this is, I wanted to share our mission statement with you. Last year, the board had a retreat, and we, when we developed our 5-year plan, 5 years ago, it was really about almost 6 years ago, we worked with consultants who kind of discouraged us from having a mission statement and said, why don't you just move into a strategic plan with your areas that you're going to focus, and that will kind of define who the district is. But it kind of gnawed at me, and I always felt that we really should revisit the mission statement. And I think it's an important statement to have, as it represents what our district does, as well as a vision statement is where our district would like to go. And years ago, we developed the kind of the slogan or setting a course for excellence. So the board adopted that as its vision statement, and the mission statement is the East Rockaway School District respects our diverse community and proud traditions by engaging every student in an innovative and challenging educational program which inspires learners to become self-directed, ethical, creative, and globally conscious citizens. And that truly was a group effort of our 5 trustees last year who developed that. And we do hold true to that and want to keep that on the horizon, not just when we think of our strategic plan, but as our mission statement about what we do each day and who we are as a district and a community. So this is the area of achievement. I'm not going to read that because I think you've all seen that, our desired outcome. And this, I know it's a little hard to read, and I'm not going to read all the previous years, but the strategic plan was designed into 4 priority areas, and each priority area had a goal, and then there were several objectives under the goal area. And you saw that in this picture here. The goal area was to provide an outstanding educational program, and then the different objectives are listed here, and you can read those later. But really, this was probably one of the most important ones, was to provide an aligned, horizontally and vertically aligned K-12 curriculum, a rigorous academic program in all content areas that challenge students and prepare them for college and career. So you can see, like I said, I didn't list all of them. The previous year's presentations are on the website if you do want to go back and track what we have accomplished. But over the past year, the major focus of our work in this area has been on the area of elementary language arts, literacy and writing, and math, and planning for universal acceleration for all students in the 8th grade. So the past 2 years, the focus has been on improving outcomes for our students in math and science. We did a lot of data analysis. We knew that those areas were challenges for us over the past several years, and we dug down all the way back into the elementary school to see where were we falling short? Was it our curriculum? Was it our materials? Was it our teaching strategies? Were students coming into the middle school not quite prepared to handle the rigor of a middle school and then a high school academic math program? And we did make several changes, not only here at the junior senior high school, but also adopted last year a new math program, it started in grades 3 through 6, and then this year we pushed it down into K through 2. So K through 5 has the Eureka Math program, which we believe is better aligned with preparing students for when they get up to middle and high school. And then our team at the junior senior high school reviewed the 6th through 8th grade math program as well, through the administration as well as the curriculum committee. We reviewed course offerings and timelines that would accommodate needs to bring acceleration to fruition, because we can't just throw all our 8th graders into algebra, which is the first Regents class, without making sure that they have the prerequisite skills. So 6th and 7th grade had to be aligned with 8th grade. I'm pleased to say that this year we do have additional periods of math in 7th grade, so that students who are struggling or whose skills are not yet ready for algebra in 8th grade will benefit from the additional help built into the day. So there's an extra periods every 2 periods a week, extra math for students, so that they can either enrich their skills or they can get review and reinforcement, so that kids will be ready next year. More kids will be ready to accelerate into Regents algebra in 8th grade. We did the same thing with science, so the curriculums were aligned. In in 7th grade so that more of our students could take living environment. 2 years ago, we flipped that. We used to offer earth science in grade 8 as an advanced course, and we found that that's probably one of the more challenging Regents classes to take, and we investigated and polled other districts and found that living environment might be a better choice for kids starting out with their first Regents. So this year, we have purchased new resources for students in 6 through 8. Well, let me look at my notes so I don't say the wrong thing. Actually, I'll get to that. So we have Eureka Math in grades K through 5 now. Grades 6 through 12 have new textbook resources in math and also in science. And then our 7th and 8th grade social studies classrooms have also new discovery textbooks. So we expect those to really bring about some important changes and supports for our students. 2 years ago, we also implemented summer school for our high school students, and this has really, really worked out well for us. We have a twilight program, as many of you know, after school. It used to be called ALPS, and then we changed it to Twilight, and that was for students who needed credit recovery or who needed to repeat a course in order for them not to fall behind. They would stay after school. Well, summer school has been so successful that we really pretty much eliminated our Twilight program, and we don't actually need it. We do have the funds set aside for that, and so we're using them in more creative ways to support student needs, and that will be used to have a homework center this year. And also, we're going to be offering an after-school SAT prep course, because some children, we began offering an SAT prep course during the school day several years ago, but not all students can take it because it doesn't fit in their schedule. So this will be offered now after school for students so that parents do not have to pay for an actual prep course. So these are this is just going into our actual second objective, which is talking a lot about using data and multiple measures of assessments to support student growth. It's always good to start with a positive, and these are some of the colleges that our students attended last year. And as you know, every year we present this slide, and we have had our students applying to much more competitive schools and a more variety of schools. We have increased the number of students that apply and are accepted to four-year colleges, but that number does vary by year because our cohort is so small, and I say this every year. We only, have at maximum 100 or 105 students, and there are years where we only have 75 students. So when you're looking at 75 students, could represent a 1.5. So it's a little bit difficult to show continuous growth with such a small sample size. But we have made definite gains in this area. We talk a lot about AP classes, and AP classes are terrific, and they are difficult and challenging, and colleges, not all colleges accept AP credit, but students do have to score a 3 or above, and some schools are 4, I believe a 4 and above, in order for students to earn college credits going into the school. It depends on the school. So we've started to look at other options, which is to offer college level courses that are endorsed by colleges, or our teachers are authorized to teach them, and we have a number of them now. This SUPA Psychology is Syracuse University has a program, and we have a teacher who's certified to teach psychology, and we actually moved away from AP psychology because we found that a lot of students were not qualifying for college credit on the AP, but SUPA, Syracuse University credits are accepted much more widely across the whole country, and even if students get, I think you get a B or above, Mona, am I correct? Or even that they will get college credit. So it gives kids more of an opportunity to earn credit. And we also have a robotics course, an accounting course, Italian, Spanish, and U.S. history, which is offered through SUNY Albany. So we are going to be looking at creating in the future. This year, one of the things we're going to be looking at is a dual enrollment program, where we can see if some of our students can be taking some credits through Nassau Community College while they're still here. I don't think that will happen this year, but we are going to be in the exploration phase of that so that some of our students can benefit from that. And of course, it winds up being not only an incentive and a motivation for students, but it's a cost savings for parents. We're really, really proud. I know Mr. Gamache speaks about this, and I know our other trustees as well. We're very proud that we have, since 2014, have tripled the number of students who can attend career and technical programs. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And each year, we now actually do not even turn students away. Not all students get their first choice of which program they want to participate in. There's welding, there's automotive, there's cosmetology, veterinary science. There's a real wide variety of Tech. And that is costly to the district, but we, over time, have been able to build that into the budget. And we've increased it from 6 slots, which would be 3 juniors and 3 seniors, to 18 students who can attend. And, you know, and even there are years, because BOCES goes on a 3-year rolling average, that we can even squeeze 1 more student in. So, but I think we've accepted everyone who has wanted to be in that, as long as their program was available, because there's only so many spaces in BOCES because it's a county-wide program. But that's really beneficial to our students who choose a different pathway. And that's really what's so important for us here in our school community, is to find the pathway that is most appropriate for each individual student. Not everyone wants to go to college and should go to college. And vocational training is certainly an option. We want our students to be able to be productive and to be successful at whatever they choose upon their graduation. So we have been working a lot. I'm not going to go into all of this, but we have a very robust data analysis model that we use in our elementary schools, as well as in the junior, senior high school, with one of our students mentioned, NWEA growth in the 7th and 8th grade, and then our chair people work with our teachers through the BOCES data warehouse to evaluate and analyze Regents data so that we can look for improved outcomes and provide analysis and support that will tell us where are our strengths and where are the areas that our kids might be falling down. Maybe it's a unit that we haven't emphasized, maybe those questions are particularly difficult, and we do use that data to help us make gains. And of course, not only do many of our students in different subjects set goals based on their NWEA results, but we also have our teachers set data-driven goals each year and are reviewed mid-year with their administrators, and then at the end of the year relative to student progress. This is just a little snapshot about the progress over time that we've showed in the NWEA results. You can see the different years. Red is the most current year, and you really, pretty much overall, we've seen continuous progress. A little dip in our 6th grade last year, but for the most part, we are moving in the right direction, increasing our results for our students, which is excellent. We're very proud. This is another metric that our elementary teachers and principals have worked very hard to implement. This is a program called Achieve 3000. It is used to differentiate literacy instruction for students. They use it's a technology-based program, so they work on their tablets, and our 3rd and 4th grade class sets of tablets that they use. And we really have seen the most gains this past year. We've gone from 20% of our students on track to almost 40% of our students on track according to this particular measure. Doesn't mean that only 40% of our students are on track, but through this particular program. And our students in grades 3 through 6 use this during their literacy period so that the teachers can differentiate instruction and provide small group instruction. So overall, there was gains of 118 Lexile points, and that's a measure of literacy achievement. It's a little difficult to explain, but it just explains the data in a little bit different way. So we're very proud of the progress that our students have made and our teachers for using the program, because it is time-consuming, and they have found ways to use the program with fidelity and also fit it into their program and use it as homework as well. So we look forward to continued gains with this program. Here's another area that we're proud of is our Regents Diploma. Our Regents Diploma rates have always been pretty strong. Most of our students do graduate. And as I said, when you have 100 students, if one student doesn't graduate, that's 1 percentage point. So for each, if you base it on 100 and you have 4 students that don't graduate with their cohort or they need to come back for a 5th year, that would take away from the 100%. So our results have been fairly strong, but this year we're most proud that we've gone up 6 percentage points, which is significant, in the number of percentage of students who achieved advanced Regents diplomas this past year. And these are the data for our students attending 4-year colleges, and as I said, kids are applying to many more different colleges, but this is a little bit more difficult to show growth again, because many of our students go to 2-year colleges, and that's not included in this data. This is our, I think you can pretty much see this, this is our advanced placement data, and the reason I wanted to show you the other college courses is because we don't want to give the impression that AP is the only option for advanced courses that we offer. But we have had pretty strong results, and again, these numbers do vary based on enrollment, based on the particular cohort, but our performance and our participation has been quite strong. And we are always looking and analyzing this data to see not only how our students can do better, but what other courses we can offer. As you will see this year, Mr. Howard Lee, he's teaching our AP Computer Science course this year, and this is also the 2nd year that we're offering AP Art. So we do change the course offerings based on student interest and see if maybe a college course would be a better fit than an AP, as we did with psychology. So our high school administration is looking at that ongoing, and they will be making adjustments based on what really will best serve our students' interests as well as their achievement and opportunities for success. This area is really to develop active citizens and responsive leaders among not only our students but our faculty. And this is a little bit harder to quantify, but basically we have done a lot in this area. One of the major initiatives that we've put forth is that of visible learning strategies. I can't go into what that is now, but it's really about kids understanding what they're learning and teachers being very clear about their learning intentions, as well as students understanding what they're learning, why they're learning it, and how will they know when they're successful. And that really serves to increase achievement for students. It's a highly research-based model, and it shares with teachers a number of classroom strategies that they already know that yield the highest effect size when used. So the teachers can then choose those strategies and use them more, the ones that are more effective, and use less the ones that don't have the highest effect size. We have a lot of professional learning going on. Again, our data meetings, we have many district and building level committees with specific charges that are designed to improve outcomes for students. Each year we have standing committees, but we also have a number of new committees each year that are added on. One that we're very excited about this year is our mental health steering committee. You'll be hearing a little bit more about that. One of our most successful committees is our prevention task force. They have done amazing work in engaging our community and really providing awareness, increasing awareness on really one of the most important areas, which is substance abuse prevention. So I thank them for their work. This is providing, again, professional development for all faculty to ensure high quality teaching and learning. We have had some very specific and dedicated initiatives that we've been sticking with rather than plucking here and there, as many districts do. They kind of jump on each new bandwagon that comes out, and we've heard our teachers loud and clear that we were doing too much in too many different directions, which was really good feedback, and we are focusing now on a few initiatives that are most focused and also will yield the best outcomes for our students. Visible learning is one of them. Thinking Maps is something we've been doing, this is year 4, I believe, and we really do see students start, and teachers using it, of course, but students starting to use it on their own and hopefully taking it with them to college so that they can better understand and process the information. So you'll hear a little bit more about professional development and what we have planned for this year. And this has been something that was very, very important to the Strategic Planning Committee, is that we developed a very well-articulated cycle to evaluate curriculum areas and programs, because we had adopted a number of programs and they kind of were staying out there and we weren't really evaluating whether they were effective or not. And so we now have a cycle. It's a cyclical cycle, so we do different things in different years, and I thank Mrs. Hecht for her leadership in this, because we've done a lot of great work, especially with our balanced literacy framework for elementary school. Ms. Terranova has provided leadership for our research, our 7 through 12 writing research initiative, which was launched, I think, 5 years ago, and we've revised and improved upon that each year as we move forward. This also addresses the plan to accelerate students in science as well as in math for 8th grade. And a lot of this work comes out of our curriculum committees, where our teachers volunteer their time as well as our administrators chair these meetings. So I thank everyone for their efforts. So for achievement, our next steps this year is to implement the Universal Acceleration Model. As I said, we're providing additional supports and we look forward to greater student success in this area. And the main reason that this is so important is that it allows students to take advanced courses when they get further up into the grades. So they're not having to take a Regents class in 12th grade, and even in 11th grade, they can take physics instead of being a year behind in the course sequence. They can take AP classes when they finish the Regents requirements. So this has a very positive long-term effect for those of our students who want to be challenged. And we do want to challenge our students because we know that those students who take AP classes or college level classes in high school do better in college. They're better prepared for the rigor of college classes. We're also opening the Homework Center this year. I know it was piloted last year, and we're going to continue it this year. We do hope our students take advantage of that. We know some of our families are not home in the afternoons to help their kids with homework, and homework does have value, and so a lot of our students benefit from that. So that takes place in the library, and I believe we'll be having teachers for each subject area. We're working on that, right? Getting different teachers for every subject so that the expertise is there to really help them. As I said, we have the new math and science textbooks, the new social studies textbooks. We are also looking into a new AIS literacy program for our teaching assistants, and last year, in the middle of the year, we implemented iReady, which is an online program for AIS students in grades 7 through 10 in both math and literacy. And I thank Mr. Schaefer for bringing that program in and implementing it. We look forward to seeing the success it brings our students. These are the areas that we're continuing our professional development on, and again, these areas have all been, with the exception of Discovery Textbooks and Eureka Math, have been ongoing, so we're not, we've only added those 2 new areas. This year we will be looking at exploring a new reading program for our elementary teachers. The Journeys program that we currently have is really outdated. It no longer is aligned to the next generation learning standards, and we really felt it doesn't really provide the comprehensive approach to English language arts instruction that our students need. So our reading committee will be looking at selecting a new program that will be implemented next year. And again, I do thank the elementary teachers for their efforts in adopting all of these new programs that we brought in. I talked a little bit about visible learning, our next generation science curriculum. This is also something new. This year we added grade 3, and in subsequent years we'll be adding a new grade until we complete through 5th grade. The high school's also been working on department grading policies that will place a greater emphasis on the readiness skills that are needed for college and career. So we give our students a little bit more opportunity to be successful in their grades. Opportunity, I'll try to move through this a little fast. We really, as our students all said, we're trying to enhance as many opportunities as we can across all grade levels for students. We know that mental health is really, it's very, very important to all of us. And some of our board trustees ran on that platform as it being important to them as well. And we all agree. It's also a new mandate from New York State this year that we implement mental health curriculum. And so we are forming a mental health and wellness committee where we will design our district approach to mental health and wellness. Last year, the committee mapped the current programs that we already have, and we do have a few programs that have already been in play. We're looking to spiral those and make sure that we have a consistent approach to all of those areas across K through 12 in age-appropriate ways as we move forward. We're also going to continue to review and look at all of the course offerings that we have, so as I said before, so that it can meet the needs of all of our students, especially as we move into universal acceleration. We're going to strengthen our partnership with AVID. That's a program we brought in also about 4 years ago, and it's really an excellent and rich program that will help kind of the average student to be more successful and ready for college and career. Mr. Schaefer administered a student engagement survey last year, and the high school reviewed the results with not only with his student advisory committee, but with teachers. And it was really a great kind of precursor, because this year I'll be telling you in a few slides about the district-wide climate survey that we will be conducting throughout the district and with our parents as well. And it gives some really interesting information that faculty, administration, and students can use to better serve how our students perceive their school experience. Again, this really ties in, and some of it is redundant with connections, because it's about educating all of our stakeholders about the opportunities that are available. So a lot of this really has to do with communication. We have been the last several years running a lot of family workshops. Last year when we did the substance abuse awareness book talk, we heard loud and clear from parents that they love the format of engaging in small groups with other parents as well as facilitators at the table. So we're going to try and tailor some of our future workshops in that model. We partnered with the PTA to offer Stop the Bleed. That's going to be offered again this year, and we're also going to be offering that training to all of our students. And again, it's about publicizing a lot of this, and I know our principals have done an excellent job of getting the word out through different means, through our communication system, through newsletters, through Instagram, Twitter, and our Facebook page as well. I think we have that really well covered. And of course, one of our most important goals in this area was to ensure that all of our students are connected, and that ties into mental health. We know that students who are connected in their school communities are less likely to be depressed, have anxiety, and they're more likely to receive help because they have connections with people who can identify that they may be at risk. And so we've been able to establish that about 85, and it depends on the year, but at least 85, sometimes 90% of all students participate in at least one extracurricular, and approximately 60% participate in 2 or more. And we are continuing to collect that data. And again, those relationships that are formed by coaches with their students and in clubs and small groups is very different than the relationship that some teachers form, because the educational setting may be a little bit more formal. So we try to find as many ways as we can for our students to make strong connections with our faculty. And we do a great job of that. Again, this area focuses on career development and college and career readiness. Last year, we were very pleased that we were a year ahead of the curve, and we implemented our elementary guidance program. Starting in this September, that became a New York State mandate, another unfunded mandate, but through our creative budgeting, and thanks to Mrs. Grio and our Board of Education, we were able to move forward with that last year. And we're looking to enhance that program this year, and that will focus on many of the points that are covered in our guidance plan, which now has to be a K-12 guidance plan that's required by the state. Again, some of this is a little redundant. I know Mr. Schaefer conducted a recent alumni survey and met with a lot of the alumni that come back to get their feedback, which is really, really valuable. We've done that in the past as well to hear how well are they prepared for college and and what are the areas that they think we could do a little bit better at. And we use that information as we develop our courses and also select an instructional focus. I know writing is always something that we hear because kids have to do a lot of writing in college, and we have heard that loud and clear and adjusted our instruction to better support that. This area, again, AVID really ties into the idea of multiple pathways for post-secondary education, and again, continue to advertise the career and technical opportunities. When I first got here, parents said they didn't even know that that was available, that it was the best kept secret, and you kind of had to be in the know that we offered that because we didn't have the funds to support more than 6 kids going. But now our guidance counselors do advertise that. They speak about it to parents as well as students, so they know that it is an option for anyone who wants to choose that pathway. Last year, we also revised our graduation requirements policy so that it was more clearly aligned with New York State and gave more flexibility for students to take different electives rather than specific prescribed courses. And again, that's based more on student interests. So next steps for opportunity, we have this year a new anatomy and physiology course, as well as that's a half a year, and the other half a year is an EMT elective. It's popular this year. We also are going to be offering, as I said, the SAT prep course, expanding our elementary guidance program, exploring our dual, as I said before, exploring opportunities for dual enrollment. We can build a partnership maybe with Queensborough Community College. There are some districts that have a partnership with Queensborough. Nassau is a little bit difficult. I know some districts have reached out to Nassau Community College. Their leadership is changing, so that may be a possible option. This past year, and we're going to continue moving forward to have more opportunities for student recognition in very different ways so that all of our students can be honored for what they're doing and their hard work. We have professional learning communities that are going to be happening on a regular basis, and of course we'll be working on the next 5-year strategic plan. It's the area of connection, making connections that will foster student success. So we have really focused a lot on sharing information with the community. The Board of Education formed a communications subcommittee that was very successful last year. They had some fabulous recommendations that all are being implemented this year. That committee will continue this year, so we're looking for our older veteran members to continue and any new members. There'll be something up on the website by the end of the week. If you're interested in joining us, we're expanding that membership a little bit. We've expanded our presence on social media, we, of course, continue to do presentations so that the community is aware of all the different initiatives and things that the district is working towards. And our parent coordinator also, this was a recommendation 2 years ago. We had trouble hiring someone, but finally mid-year last year we did. And now we do have a new coordinator who's really hit the ground running, and we feel that that's going to be successful at providing increased outreach to families, especially our new parents moving in the community, as well as supporting us with outreach to the community at large. One of the recommendations of the communications subcommittee was to provide greater interaction with the community at large, so our senior citizens, our veterans. We already have some ideas in the works to invite veterans in. We're going to be having our seniors coming to a dress rehearsal of the musical this year, and also inviting them to Empty Bowls, which takes place on the night of the board meeting from 5 to 7 in November. So we're going to make those linkages as well, so that people know how great our school district is. We're also going to be holding this coming year another Realtors Breakfast. This is something we did several years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And we invited the realtors from all across the area we held it at Rain Avenue. We had student performers, we had an art show, we had our principal speak. We talked about all of the things that are going on, and I do have to say that all of the realtors were very impressed by what this little gem of a school district is doing. And many people did not realize how terrific this district is. So it hopefully will help to bring more people who want to know more about our district and hopefully decide to buy a house. We also, as we are tonight, are now live streaming events. That was one of the recommendations of the subcommittee. So our board meetings, starting this year, will all be live streamed, so people at home can put people to sleep tonight. But there's a lot of great stuff that I really want to share with them. It's a little bit long. But we've also live streamed the candidates night as well as the two bond forums, which were helpful. We had quite a few hits on the site of people going back to watch it, because not only is it live streamed, but you can see it as a recorded video. This is mentoring opportunities. We're doing a lot in-house as well as outside in the area. This is an area that we would really like to focus a little bit more on this year, but it's difficult. It's difficult to find people who are available to engage with our students. Everyone is so busy. Even bigger corporations and entities were not exactly well located to have people who want to reach out. It seems school districts that are located in areas where there's more, business office buildings have a better opportunity, but we're continuing to try to provide more opportunities for our senior seminar students. The last 2 years we participated in the Middle School Student Leadership Institute, which is an amazing opportunity, albeit for about 12 students, 10 students, but I know they had a fabulous experience. And this really ties into our mental health committee, which I spoke about, and something else that we've looked into that will really help to improve the safe and supportive climate that we have in our schools is restorative practices. And maybe we can tell the board and the community a little bit about that at a later date, but it really is looking for an alternative to suspension, an alternative to discipline, so that students can restore the relationships with people that they have done harm to, either in a conflict that happens or even between a conflict between a teacher and a student in a class, or even between students in classes. And also, I have to say, we have a very committed group of teachers and social workers here at the high school and the elementary schools who are interested in moving this initiative forward and be looking more about it. So this shows some great data. One of our goals was to reduce suspension, because suspension really does, the research does not really show that suspension is effective in changing student behavior, although there are times when certain behaviors really do warrant suspension. And we do have to suspend students when there is serious behavior that occurs, but sometimes we were suspending kids a little bit too frequently, and suspensions maybe were a little bit too long. And so I'm pleased to say that we've reduced the number of students suspended by about 25% over the last 2 years, and we've reduced the number of days that students are suspended by about 35%. And that's really, really significant. And I thank Mr. Schaefer and his team, Mr. Kraus and Ms. Terranova, and our new dean. We can see that our dean, Mr. Pager, has really had a positive effect on discipline in the high school. So we hope that that trend will continue, because when kids are not in school, we know that they're not learning, and it's not the best environment. Again, this is a little bit redundant. I know that our schools, although we now have security vestibules in all 3 of our schools, we have tried to make them more welcoming and visually inviting. You can see the aesthetics of all of our buildings have improved significantly. They're really beautiful places to visit and welcoming and warm places, not only for families and visitors, but most important for our students. We have, again, a lot of this is redundant, but some of the strategies fall across multiple goal areas. Engaging community stakeholders to foster active relationships with local and global partners. This has also been a little bit difficult to achieve some of the more loftier goals that we would like to, and I would want to continue to focus on this to provide greater outreach across, not only within our school community, but across Nassau County, New York City, and even globally through distance learning and other types of technology that we can bring, make connections for our students across different areas. So our next steps for this is to enhance the role of the parent coordinator. Again, the Board of Education Communications Subcommittee did a great job, and I'm sorry that picture is blocking it, but the recommendations are being implemented, and there are the 4 recommendations there. It was suggested that we have Google Classroom video tutorials. If parents can't make it to a workshop, at least they can click on tutorials that are on our website, so we'll be posting them shortly. I met last night with Mr. Rouse, and I met with the mayor and the village trustees to talk about developing a community calendar. And that was a strong recommendation from the committee, albeit a difficult one. People would like to have a central calendar where they can try to not have duplication and know what's going on, because we're also involved in so many different, I mean, that's the beauty about this community, is people are involved in so many different ways. It's a difficult thing to accomplish. It's beyond the resources of our school district. And so we did go to the village and see if they would be interested in supporting that work. And we did come up with some type of an idea to get started, where we would have our students do a mentorship or an internship with the village and work with Mr. Rouse to identify community groups that would like to put a link to their calendar, and the village would host it. So we are going to move forward with that. It's a difficult task because we all agreed that it was impossible to create one calendar with everybody's events on it, but having the calendars at one site would facilitate at least people finding out what's going on. And we could put a link to that main calendar on ours as well. So it would bring things together, and at least we could try and see how that works. So we're excited about that. And our subcommittee will be starting, as I said. And I thank all of our administrators for having a presence on social media. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course our website, and they're very active, including our 2 elementary principals both starting Twitter accounts this year. I think I spoke about most of these things. One of the things we're most excited about, and I don't want to steal Mr. Gamash's thunder when he shares his in that as tied to our mental health and wellness model, we have been approached by Northwell Health and several other districts in the area to form a community-embedded behavioral health urgent care plan. There is a cost associated with that. The board really struggled with that because this came to us after the budget was already developed, and it's quite a bit of money. But thanks to Senator Kaminsky, who lobbied with Northwell Health to try and get the price down, the Board of Education has decided to go ahead with this clinic. And hopefully it will open at 100 Merritt Road in Rockville Center, and will be available to us to coordinate mental health needs, especially in crisis or urgent care for our students and their families. So we will hear more about it as we move forward with that, but that will be at the cornerstone of one of the cornerstones of our mental health approach. As I said, Realtors Breakfast, we want to enhance our New York State mentoring program, and we've made pre-K connections. This was also a recommendation from the Communications Subcommittee, but it's something that we already were involved in. I should say Ms. Heck was already involved in. We just weren't promoting it, sharing it with you, but these are some of the things that we're doing with our pre-K kindergarten connections for entering parents so that they can be better prepared for kindergarten. Area of innovation, I'm almost done. This, again, is an area that has been given a lot of attention in our district. This past year, one of the important things is that our technology committee under Mr. Rouse's leadership created a learning continuum that will be piloted this year that identifies expectations for the uses of technology for students by grade level. And this is really important because our teachers want to know what are they expected to do with kids, and we don't want it to be redundant that some kids are learning PowerPoint in third grade and other kids are then being introduced to it in fifth when they already know how to use PowerPoint. We want continuous growth and advancement. So this document will help teachers to know exactly what their students are responsible for. We're also continuing professional development. That's Mr. Rouse's expertise, and he's been into, I think, every classroom in the district supporting teachers. We've also continued close review of our visitor and student procedures with regard to ID cards, and we've really tightened up security, I think, at all 3 buildings. I think you've all seen that, and that's important because hardening our schools and trying to have limit visitors visiting our building who don't belong here is probably the best way to keep our schools safe. Again, we're in year 4 of, last year was year 4 of the device initiative, so every student in grade 5 through 12 has a device and they are using them more and more. And we also, so now we're in the 5th year, so we're replacing a new set of devices for our 5th and 9th graders are getting the newest devices this year. We found a more economical way to do that and a better device. And as you can see, I'm not going to go through all of them, so I know it's getting. This area, again, this really covers 2 objectives, and again, you can see what those strategies are. As I said, new AP computer science course, utilization of Google G Suite, as well as continued smartboard upgrades. Those are expensive, and the lifespan of our smartboards has, many of them have reached the end of life, and so we have to continually replace those, and we've been able to budget for a replacement cycle for both our laptops as well as our smartphones. That's a little redundant. I'll just move on. One of the things that we take very seriously, as you know, is school security. And 2 years ago, in June of 2017, we began work. 2018, we began working with Altaris, their security consultant, and they have given us tremendous guidance and support and expertise to improve our security strategies to keep our buildings safe. We have a opportunity priority list that they developed, and every couple of months we go through it and we see which strategies we can implement. Some of them do come with a dollar amount, but many of them are just about educating our teachers and our building personnel and to keep our schools safe. One of the things what we started to work on last year and we will be implementing, you'll hear more about it, is to actually perform a complete evacuation drill. We have never really done that in the district where we've actually evacuated all of our students to an off-site evacuation. It's really important in this day and age that we actually do it. And one of the drills that we will do will actually hold a parent reunification process. So we will evacuate and then have parents come to meet their students, to go through all of the best practices procedures so that we know we're ready in the event, God forbid, that some type of a crisis happens. As you know, we have our new security vestibules, thank you to Mrs. Scrio, and some of them we were able to fund with very little cost to upgrade our visitor management. So this year, thank you to the Board of Education, they approved us having a security coordinator on site. So Altaris will be providing us, his name is Mr. Bob Oldham. He started last Thursday, he'll be in the district every Thursday. We'll get to meet him next month. And many of you will see him around the community, helping and supporting our principals, providing training for our teachers. He'll be here Thursdays, but he's flexible to come in on Mondays when we have faculty meetings. And he will be attending every district-wide and building-wide safety meeting to help support our approach to student safety. As you also heard, and we'll be telling you more about this, we have now to also address cybersecurity. You've heard a lot about that in the news, and again, there's a cost associated with that, but thanks to Mr. Arouse's expertise, we are already in the process of implementing new cybersecurity measures to keep our data safe. We're also implementing the technology benchmarks. professional development and moving forward, as I said before, with our one-to-one device system. Continuing to advance our STEAM model. This is also a little bit slow. Again, because we're a small district, it's hard to offer, but we've had our new librarian provide some interesting opportunities in makerspace for our students. That's our newly remodeled library. And this year, with the grant that we received from Judy Griffin, Assemblywoman Judy Griffin, we're going to be creating innovative classroom spaces that will further enhance student engagement. And these are just some of the other areas. So of course, we couldn't let the night go by without mentioning the bond that's coming up, because that does align and support all of the initiatives and the projects that we've included in our strategic plan. And in our bond are aligned to our strategic plan, and as you know, the vote will take place on November 14th. It will benefit all 3 of our buildings, and I would encourage you to come out to vote. Our kids, your choice, their future. And this is something I'm most excited about, and you will hear more about this, I think, in December, Mrs. Hecht? December or January. We'll be conducting a school quality survey, and this will measure the areas that are indicated here. It will be offered to teachers, to students, and to parents in the community. And the feedback, the results of the survey will be analyzed and shared with each of the building administrative team and the teachers. And then we're going to determine what's actionable from the results of the survey. The survey results will also be used to launch the new strategic planning committee, because it will give us a lot of information about how people perceive our schools, how students perceive our schools, and how our families in the community perceive our schools. So we'll identify strengths and areas of growth while understanding, again, the perceptual disparity across 3 stakeholder groups. And again, that will be used for our strategic plan. So that is the end. Not too bad. Does anyone have any questions? I do want to thank everyone, because it's a lot, there's a lot to celebrate. And, it should be a celebration for everybody in this district whose efforts together are leading us in this direction. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ruiz. A few times, too, throughout the presentation, Ms. Ruiz mentioned that there are costs associated with these things. And I want to emphasize as well, from a board member, one of the things that I'm most proud of is we've stayed within the tax cap all of the years that we've been planning these budgets. And last year in particular, not only did we stay within it, but we came in underneath the tax cap. And that was a proud achievement for us. And couldn't have been done without the prudent planning of Mrs. Ruiz, Mrs. Strio, and the full cooperation of the whole staff in putting their budgets together as well. So I did want to emphasize that, because when you see that presentation and all of the things that have been added, I think it really is an impressive accomplishment, especially for a district of our size. I do want to remind everyone as well that we are live streaming, and I want to thank those of you for tuning in at home. At this point, we are at number 3, public comment on agenda items. Are there any comments from the public on any of the agenda items? So we'll move on to number 4, approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from September 17th, 2019?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Schloth,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Volpez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved. We acknowledge the monthly receipt reports and correspondence, which includes the monthly financial reports, as well as 4 correspondences. Now we move on to number 6, recommendations by the superintendent of schools. Mrs. Reese?
Thank you. Tonight, I'm recommending that the Board of Education accept the following resignations. Lucia Cruz Castro, monitor, effective October 4th. Kristen Martin, substitute nurse, effective November 18th. And Andrew Rosenberg, director of guidance, effective November 22nd. Also recommending that the board grant tenure to the following staff member on the effective date indicated, subject to satisfactory evaluation, and that is Sarah Kane. Recommending that the board approve the appointment of Tracy Gatto to the position of summer curriculum writing effective August 14th, 2019 at the hourly salary set forth in the East Rockaway teacher's contract. Recommending that the board approve the request of Cindy Dower for a leave of absence for personal medical reasons from her teaching assistant position effective October 1st through December 17th, 2019. Recommending that the board approve the appointment of Joseph Flores to the position of short-term substitute teacher effective October 10th at the per diem salary established at the East Rockaway Board of Education. Recommending that the board approve the appointment of Joseph Flores to the position of athletic record keeper effective October 23rd, 2019 at the stipend salary established. Recommending that the board approve the revised club advisor assignments for the 19-20 school year. So recommending that the board approve the winter sports coaching schedule dated October 22nd. Recommending the board approve the revision to the appointment of Lisa Zeilberger to the position of teacher aide effective September 18th at the step 1 hourly salary established by the East Rockaway Teacher Aide Association. Recommending that the board approve the following temporary assignments at the salary approved by the East Rockaway Board of Ed. That's Ann Kerner, substitute teacher effective October 23rd. Elizabeth Rubin, substitute teacher, effective October 23rd, and Joe Loris, substitute teacher, effective October 23rd, 2019. Also, Christine Osterdorf, substitute teacher aide, and Melissa Sharameta, substitute teacher aide.
Thank you, Mrs. Ruiz. Are there any questions from the trustees regarding items 6A through J? Can I have a motion to approve items 6A through J?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. O'Hagan. Seconded by Mr. McNally. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Since there weren't any questions on the agenda for members of our audience, do any trustees have questions regarding items 7A through 7R? And if there aren't any questions, can I have an umbrella motion to approve items 7A through 7R? So moved by Mr. McNally.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Schloth. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved. Moving on to number 8, can I have a motion to approve the CSE, or are there any questions about the CSE and CPSE recommendations?
No.
Can I have a motion to approve the CSE and CPSE recommendations?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Volpez. Seconded by Mrs. O'Hagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Okay, we have 4 budget transfers. Yes. So 4 budget transfers listed below. Are there any questions? Can I have a motion to approve? So moved by Mrs. O'Hagan. Seconded by Mr. McNally. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved. Moving on to number 10, policy matters. So tonight to adopt, we have 5152, admission of non-resident students, and 6700 purchasing. Are there any questions about those 2 policies? And all in favor of adopting those two policies? Aye?
Aye.
So we've adopted policies 51, 52, and 6700. Policies up for review, those 7 are listed below. I'm going to talk about this more in a little bit during my president's report, but one of the items under 7 was the formation of a policy subcommittee with Mrs. O'Hagan and Mr. McNally, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you have any questions out there about any of the policies up for review, please don't hesitate to contact us or communicate your interest in them during these meetings. And now I'm on to 11, my report. So in bond news, the campaign promoting the bond has begun. Banners have been placed at prominent locations at our 3 schools. I hope you have seen them. Soon, a video will be placed on the district website as well. There's also additional information up there. Some of the flyers and the pamphlets that have gone up are posted on the district website. I also want to thank the village for placing a notice on the electronic message screen at the library. We hope that you will come out to vote on Thursday, November 14th, because it is our kids, your choice, and their future. On notions of cybersecurity, Mr. Arouse provided an in-depth report to us at the last work session on the digital security measures in place, as well as those being explored for possible future implementation. As with most things, enhanced security measures come with a cost, so we aren't rushing into any decisions at this time. We are confident with our current systems in place, and will continue to educate staff on the best digital practices to reduce vulnerability and risk for our district. Mrs. Ruiz mentioned the partnership with Northwell Health. Since September, we've been exploring a possible partnership with the neighboring school districts and Northwell Health to open a mental health clinic in order to help better address emergency mental health crises in our schools. This type of model is brand new, and while exciting, initially the costs and details involved gave us some significant pause. We are now at a stage where the costs have decreased from $90,000 to $55,000, and the hours have also been expanded, and we will have representation on an advisory board, which was very important to us. Once the contract is reviewed and cleared by our attorney, we anticipate entering into this agreement. We consider this a smart investment in the well-being of our children and our schools. As with all new programs, it will be carefully monitored and reviewed for effectiveness. We had an excellent meeting with our external auditing firm, allowing us to once again file these important year-end financials on time with the state. They reported that our district is in excellent financial standing with sound business practices in place, and praised the work of the entire business office under the leadership of Mrs. Strio. The Communications Committee, having acted on all of the major recommendations of last year's Communications Committee, the work of the committee will continue for a second year with representatives from the PTAs, along with new interested members. If you've already expressed interest, you will be contacted soon. A tentative first date of December 13th has been mentioned, but that is subject to change. The Policy Committee, as I mentioned, regularly updating policy is a core responsibility of the board. Reviewing and updating policy has been challenging for us to do as an entire board during our already quite full work session agendas. And I thank Mr. McNally and Mrs. O'Hagan for being our new policy subcommittee, working with Mrs. Ruiz to review policies and recommend changes to the board. This will make our functions a lot smoother and is in the best interest of our school and community. So thank you very much for doing that. And that concludes my president's report.
I think I'm going to post my superintendent's report on the website. I thank our principals for submitting all the wonderful activities and things that are going on in the buildings, and you can read about it on the website if that's okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Ruiz. Moving on to the portion of good and welfare, we would like to congratulate the Brockett family on the arrival of grandson Ronan Thomas O'Brien on September 16th. We extend our condolences to Doreen Johnson and family on the passing of her mother, Pauline Anderson, on September 22nd. We extend our condolences to Kathy Carappi and family on the passing of her son, Matthew, on September 20th. And we also extend our condolences to Mrs. Susan Glickman and family on the passing of her father, the Honorable Jules Spodek, on October 11th, 2019. It is now our period of public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment this evening? I'm actually going to skip some of the other stuff because I don't see too many people out there, and hopefully that won't establish a precedent. Okay. So at this point, we'll move on to board member comments, and I will start this evening with Mr. McNally, and then we'll move that way, and then back this way.
Well, a few things. I was lucky enough to go to the Broadway by the Bay the other night. The kids did a great job. Everyone who performed, I give them a lot of credit for going up there. I know I could never do it. And I went to the Lupus Walk on Sunday, and I know Mrs. Kenny had the National Honor Society students there. And for my family, my wife has lupus, so we go every year, and to see all those kids there was a very nice thing. So I thought that was great.
Thank you. Mr. Slow?
I wanted to thank the high school members that honored us tonight, our administrators, the assistant principals, and the students themselves. I have to tell you, in the 11 years I've been here, I've never seen a high school do something so elaborate and so nice. It was very appreciated. Some of the keepsakes they gave us was really special, and thank you for that. I'd also like to mention something that happened to me personally that I think everybody should take notice of. The Board of Elections recently changed the venue of some of us in the northern side of our school district to vote from what used to be the Lynbrook VFW on Merrick Road to the Center Avenue School. And the voting that we have in our school district, like most schools, the Board of Elections doesn't consider security a big need for them. And they are not allowing us to screen people coming into our school buildings. So myself, like most of us and our administrators, very much against the Board of Elections using our buildings for voting because it endangers our children. And as all of you know, we went to extreme measures to upgrade our security in recent years, and we don't want anything to endanger our children. So if any of you feel it's important enough, it'd be nice if you called or wrote a letter to the Board of Elections and ask them to try to refrain from using school buildings for elections and seek out other buildings like firehouses or VFWs or other places that are much more safe. I actually had the opportunity to speak to our county executive last week and let her know about it, and Laura Curran actually said to me that she was once a school board member and agrees with us wholeheartedly, so maybe we'll get some help from her. And I wanted to thank everybody for staying so late tonight.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank the students who took the time to take part in the PSA on safety and also the heartwarming presentation recognizing the board. Well, I've always known that East Rockaway is a special place or a gem, as Mr. Reese said. It is performance like this or letters that we receive commending the behaviors of the athletic teams outside of the school day that really reinforce that everybody's doing their part. The parents, the teachers, the coaches, the community. And we see these young people as shining example of fine ladies and gentlemen we're raising. And they're learning so much more in the schools. It's not just the content. They're learning how to be kind, caring, well-mannered, and involved individuals, and that's so important. And I personally appreciate the parents, the administrators, and the teachers for really playing such a vital role in the lives of our children. So thank you very much. And thank you for staying so late.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Hagan. Mr. Baltus?
Ditto on much of the stuff that was said already, because I don't want to make you stay any later when you're staying. But one important thing, this past Friday night, the beauty of having a night football game for the community and standing outside and watching, I want to thank Mr. Barth and the athletic staff and all the administrators for supporting endeavors like that, because to this community, those are traditions that are being created right now for the future. Hopefully our bond will pass and we'll have permanent lights in the back and keep that moving on as a normal activity through each every week. So thank you for that. And more so for the work that went into tonight, the appreciation of the board. It was a really, again, heartwarming community feel. So thank you for creating that, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Baltus. And I want to thank Mrs. Ruiz for your update on the strategic plan this evening. It's impressive to see all that's been accomplished. And I thank you and the entire staff responsible for accomplishing these tasks on a daily basis. Just like the young man who spoke earlier, I do have to say as well that my favorite part of the strategic plan is the area of opportunity. Above all else, it's what I'm most excited about. And it's been impressive to see all the increased opportunities that we have created these past 4 years. Sharing the strategic plan this evening also felt particularly special with acknowledging the Board of Education tonight. So I thought that that was appropriate and fitting. And finally, I want to say you're welcome to the thank yous. Tonight was awesome. We don't score touchdowns or drain three-pointers, but the cheerleaders did an exceptional job of making me feel like our work is exciting. So for that, I say, well done, thank you. It is 9:02. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:02?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Sloth,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. O'Hagan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.